Hello, my name is Dr. Carl Candlepun, and in this special episode of My Lost Podcast, I host a post-screening discussion of Season 1, Episode 7, The Moth. This discussion features a first-time viewer, and as such, does not feature any spoilers beyond that point in the show. However, if you have not seen at least to this point in the series, I highly recommend you do so first before proceeding with this podcast. But without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so we're here with Julia and, of course, Drew, our other veteran viewer like me. Julia's our first-time viewer here today to talk about The Moth. She went through hell to be here tonight, so that we'd have a first-time viewer.
Crawled out of the cave.
She also had to catch up on the last two episodes earlier today. So you've watched 3 Lost episodes today.
I have watched a lot of Lost.
So we have some stuff to talk about. Like, obviously, we're here to talk about The Moth. If you want to talk about anything else, I'll probably try not to ask you questions about those episodes, but if something comes up, we can feel free to talk about that.
That's fine.
So I guess let's start with The Moth. Did you like it? Not like it?
Well, most importantly, it was a really good episode to see on the bigger screen because Charlie's whole rock star thing would have been really lame on the smaller TV. But no, I liked it. I liked the Charlie story. I really liked Charlie, so that was a good storyline. Yeah, and I like Kate and Jack. I was disappointed they didn't make out at the end. That was disappointing.
Yeah. Which honestly, I think all the episodes we watched are better.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure the other two would have been also Sans toddler screaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, watching on Blu-ray, unlike everyone else who was watching on Netflix, was probably crappy, compression.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I also enjoyed the religious trauma aspect of his background with confession and stuff because I have a history with Catholicism.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so when you say religious trauma, though, referring to Charlie,
a guilt and shame about his actions and his lifestyle, and I guess it's not technically religious trauma because the church isn't doing anything against him, but it is the Catholic guilt, not living up to what you're supposed to be.
Sure.
Which, he's a druggie, so, but
yeah. I think the way the show's depicted is he's kind of lost touch with that morality. I think that, there's a whole other side to Catholicism and organized religion in general that, or belief.
Maybe explain in later episodes.
Or belief in general that is dangerous and not good. And believe me, the show explores that. But in this episode, I think it's more of they kind of present it as in he used to try and do the right thing, and then
I
kind of
think
lost touch with that.
there's still a heaviness to it, though. There's still a heaviness to him. The priest didn't call him out on completely leaving behind the main thing he loves. I'm going to leave music behind completely. If the priest would have been you don't have to leave behind, the thing that means the most to you.
To be fair, it does cut away right after Charlie says he's going to quit the
band. But there is that vibe.
I'm not trying to say I think the priest did tell him that. I see what
you seem to have decided that before he went in there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The priest is telling him that we all have temptations, we all have choices that we have to make, and then Charlie makes his choice. I don't think that it was necessarily the priest's role to say. I don't know. I could be wrong, but to say well, that's not what I'm saying.
I think
if Charlie,
I have extensive religious trauma history, so for me, one thing that the show. Okay, first of all. The show may not deliberately be trying to make this point.
Sure.
But there is, in Catholicism, there is this self-abandonment that's really unhealthy. And I think that it pushes people to either go really extreme into doing bad things because they're like pushing themselves to live rules that are too extreme, and that, or they actually try to abide by the really extreme rules, and then they're miserable. So either way, like, it's just like unhappiness. So like I think that darkness is there, whether they like actually meant to put it there. But even the way they did the confessional, like, it was very like shadowed and dark. So I think it is possible that could have been.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I'm not saying you're wrong for. Yeah, you're meant to bring your own take onto these things and your own interpretation of things. And I'm not saying any of that's wrong.
No, you're good.
All right.
Sorry, that was like a hard left turn, but like just like bringing that, like, because I have that history, like I was like, oh, this is a
that's why we're doing
this. Not
this.
much in this episode, but you're also, this is not what the show Lost is about. So.
You're saying it's not what it's about.
Yeah.
No, that's the funny thing is like some of what you're talking about is bigger picture stuff, but yeah, that's part of why we're doing this is for people that have different life experience and therefore different takes on things, like, you know.
I also thought it was interesting how you got like kind of a mild redemption for all of the like really suck, like all the characters that kind of suck. Like Sawyer like did actually let off the thing that he was supposed to, and then like the blonde girl, like she actually did manage to help. And
almost
then Charlie got his like vindication.
Well, so I'm glad you brought up Sawyer, though, because as we were starting, you mentioned...
I hate him so much. Everyone talked about him like he was the hottest thing that ever existed, and he was so amazing, blah, blah, blah. I hate him.
Maybe you misunderstood the things people were saying. Or maybe you're misremembering them.
It's possible that people just like that, because Vampire Diaries, the guy who plays Boone is Damon, and Damon is like... unlikable, but like, I mean, he's just like a straight up murderer, but like he's like a lovable murderer. But like Sawyer is not, for me at least at this point, he's not likable at all. He's just like really irritating. Like he's
also not a murderer, so I mean that's something.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. As far as what's been established so far,
he tried to do it with Marshall, and it didn't quite work out.
Yeah,
he's a failed murderer.
He's just kind of a dick. Like,
what I do like, I think I said this in previous. I don't remember if it was in the group discussion or not. I get all this shit mixed up. But like for me, the reason I enjoy Sawyer more than I do, say, Shannon, for example, because at least Sawyer, like, it's kind of comical the way he's a dick. Like some of the things that he's like, even in this episode where he's seeing Jack off and just like, I don't know, or like the episode. A couple episodes, probably one of the ones you watched today, where Kate tackles him in the jungle. He's like, about time. She's like, for what? He's like, I made this birthday wish 5 years ago. Like, that always makes me laugh. So I do find him amusing. Likable is probably not the word.
I'm assuming that he will eventually be less detestable eventually. But there was like the scene with the bug spray, and I'm pretty sure he just would have given her the bug spray if she hadn't been so mean to him.
Well, and she just kept pushing the point, like, well, what do you want? And then he kind of like,
and then he was like, okay, fine, I'll be a dick if you want me to be a dick. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Is that allowed on the podcast?
Cussing?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can't help it. I every time I like I'll be recording the main episodes and I'll be like, and this fucking fuck, and I'll literally be in my head be like, I don't need to use fuck so much.
There's just something about that word though.
I know you were mad about Sawyer, like when he does tell Kate about the cave-in, like he kind of had a reaction to that. But I mean, like,
I don't remember that reaction.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you see how he? Like the look on his face after if she walks away, like it almost does feel like it's like he does feel some kind of bad about it.
That time I didn't notice that, but I did notice like when she was like telling him off. That's when he decided not to tell her.
Right? Yeah, he did come there to tell her,
but still,
sure. Yeah, I'm not saying like he made the right call because she was mean to him. I'm not saying that.
I didn't think so.
I'm trying to point out that there is clearly some degree of humanity there. And who knows?
Well, and I think they're like doing that intentionally. I'm assuming his episode is coming up soon.
I mean, most people's episodes are coming up soon. Yeah.
But it felt like they were building to his a little bit. So
Interesting.
getting us ready to like develop compassion for him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, by the way, get ready to not hate him.
Well,
that much.
I will say I am very interested for you to see the Sawyer episode, just because I am curious if it will dramatically change your opinion. I don't necessarily expect that it will, but yeah, I'm just interested to see what your take on it is.
I also am interested to see that.
Yeah.
Locke reminds me of Survivor because she just does every time I see Locke. I loved Survivor at the time that Lost was coming out.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
I just always think I think they may have been showing commercials for Lost while we were watching Survivor, so I could have just like crisscrossed like jungle Survivor,
Yeah.
But that's what I think about every time I like you know how actually this might be a spoiler. Maybe I can say it. You can edit it out.
Sure.
So I vaguely remember like trailers or like tiny snippets of the show where there was like I got the impression there were like alliances where like Jack and Kate, and then like Locke had kind of gone off by himself and he was like having his own little, and there was like one person who was like with him, and there was something where Locke had done something horrible and everybody was pissed at him, so he was like his own community separate from everybody else. I don't know like anything more about
That's
that.
vague enough. That's vague enough that you could be right, and I don't know for sure what you're talking about.
I know it's super vague, but
many
that's part of
episodes
why. That's part of why it reminds me of Survivor, because because in Survivor you had the alliances and everybody was like going.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, like so far, there's already the cave group and the beach group, and like I think it's fair to say that there's different ways in which people are kind of on different sides of different issues as the show.
I'm curious to see if the cave group and the beach group continue to be a thing after the cave.
Well, I mean that one like
collapsing.
Kate questioned it at the end, and Jack said this was a fluke. Michael checked out the integrity of the caves, like he verified.
Oh.
So it's not just when kids are screaming; you just kind of tune out of it.
I have ADHD, so like yeah. Well, actually, technically, I don't have ADHD. I have CPTSD, but it has ADHD symptoms.
Okay.
So yes, I do sometimes just like.
Okay.
Yeah. Squirrel.
Well, yeah. So
Or
that
moth, which would be more fitting. I really enjoyed Charlie saving them because of the moth. That was really special.
because he saw the moth. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Did you get how? It
Yes,
was,
and then they
he
were
was
like
breaking
struggling to get out.
Yeah, he's breaking
Yeah.
out of the moth, taking it out.
Yeah, that was cute. That was a sweet. That was sweet.
I really like that scene with Locke telling like
Yeah.
the monologue about the moth. I really like that scene a lot.
Yeah, and I like the scene when Charlie threw the drugs into the fire.
Yeah.
That made me very proud.
Did you know he was going to do it, or were you doubting? Like, were you?
I guessed,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like 100%
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I was like, I think.
Yeah. Did you get that? You know what Locke says about butterflies versus moths, and he's like, you know, it's funny, butterflies get all the attention, you know, but moths, yeah.
How it was kind of like it was about Charlie. Yeah.
And his brother,
Yeah.
his brother's the butterfly.
Yeah.
He gets all the attention. Yeah.
Locke knows as a drive shaft band, we've established.
Yeah.
Which is kind of annoying because like they established that like originally Charlie was the butterfly like of the band. Like he was like the band had to have him.
Well, no. So I mean, the way that it's like what his brother's saying is like Charlie's the one that wrote the music. And,
Yeah.
and it's his.
Right. Well,
It's
that's what
his
I'm saying. Is
music.
like it's him. Like
But I'm saying it doesn't really make
him.
him. Well, sure, but I'm saying like that kind of fits like Charlie's the moth metaphor versus the butterfly, the
Oh,
one
'cause
that
he
when
made
they're
the
on
silk.
stage,
Yeah,
like, he's the one that gets all the attention. They're shouting his name,
I guess I mean like he
even though Charlie's
should
the
have
one.
been the butterfly.
Right,
Based on
just like Locke saying the moth should have been.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
Locke saying the moth should get all the attention because they're better.
Yes.
Charlie is the moth. He should have
Right.
gotten the attention because he's the one that actually brought the value to the band.
Yes.
So yeah, that's how I think. That
Valid.
With him going to a flame.
True. Well, so jumping around a bit, but like
Yeah.
Saeed getting attacked there. Any thoughts on that?
I had a reaction to that one.
You did. Oh!
I definitely said fuck. Yeah, so that's concerning, obviously. I knew something was going to go wrong with the antennas, though.
Yeah.
I knew there had to be something. But I do think it's nice that it was not Sawyer or Shannon fucking it up.
Okay, so who do you think?
I mean, based on your, like, if I were to go just based on your physical reactions to me talking about things, I would assume it was Sawyer, but that actually couldn't be possible because he had just let off a rocket, so it couldn't be him.
If it were him, they would have to explain
how he managed to run up the mountain in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
But otherwise, I mean, I feel like it would have to be like somebody new, potentially.
Interesting.
But I could be wrong.
No, I mean that's a good option to consider.
Because I don't feel like anybody from the beach would have followed them up, and I don't feel like anybody from the cage, unless maybe this is going to be the twist where we find out Locke really is the bad guy, and it was Locke who did it. But then also he was still doing something, so that wouldn't make sense.
What was he still doing?
He's still down at the fire with Charlie. Right?
See, no, you're mixing up.
Oh no!
Because it was earlier in the night.
Yeah,
it was before.
yeah.
It was like right at sundown when they set off the rockets, and then it's later that night that Charlie does that. So that's to say that.
Oh, that's true. So it could be.
Yeah,
But also I don't know that Locke would have. Like I feel like Locke would not have hit in the way that whoever it was hit. I feel like, but that's just a guess.
I'm doing my best to have no reaction because of what you said.
He finds out it was really that Scott and Steve.
Yeah.
That was a funny, like, random, like, I space out and miss them before? Or
no, so
that was like a funny, like, random, like, oh, we're gonna just add a set of twins here.
Well, they're not twins. They're not even related. The joke, the joke is that they still don't know all of each other's names, and so he's like.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, I'm Scott. He's Steve or whatever the fuck.
They looked like them. They could have been brothers.
But the point is that there's a bunch of people that we don't like. There's our 14 main characters, and then 15 if you throw in Rose, who isn't in every episode. I mean, some of our main characters aren't in every episode either. But
wait, Rose.
Rose is the black woman.
Oh yeah.
Lost her husband. So. What I'm saying is there's 15 characters that we kind of know. Like if you saw their face, you'd be like, yeah, well, I remember this character doing this. But there's like like 46 more people that are still alive. There's 46 total. So you subtract the 15, there's like 31 more people that you're just seeing in the background.
So it's kind of like a funny little nod, like these people still exist.
Yeah. And you'll start to see in coming weeks, like there will be somebody that. Like somebody's getting like treated for like a rash, and it's like you've never seen this character before, and it's just meant to be one of the background people that you're like seeing at the forefront for the first time.
Yeah, if you pay attention, they do reuse extras.
Oh yeah, they're really good about.
It is the same people.
Most of the time, sometimes they'll cast somebody and be like, "Yeah, this person's been here the whole time."
I did think the Saeed's thing was interesting about talking about how there's no way they should have survived.
Yeah,
it's another
and there should have
thing.
been more severe.
What?
Sounds like another faith thing.
Well, I mean, for him, it's.
Are you saying that because you've seen the show, or are you saying that because of the conversation?
Well, I mean, like him and Kate have like a little tiny debate there about like her perspective on it is like, well, things just happen. Like, you should just kind of accept it. It's like
happen.
As a viewer,
he knows why that's funny.
Yeah, as a viewer, he every week he distracts me by throwing it somewhere. So I'll completely lose my train of thought of what I'm trying to say because I'll be thinking about the thing that he's referencing.
See, you do it too.
For the viewers at home, not
that's for you.
What I was saying was that as a viewer, there's a couple ways you can read that scene. You can read it as, oh, Saeed's pointing out something that I should keep in mind. Like, I should be looking for a reason that they all survived. Or, on the flip side, you could read it as, oh, well, this is Kate telling me that, like, something's just happened. You kind of just need to accept that that's the premise of the show.
I did not take it that way at all. I definitely took it as, like, they're definitely saying, like, I think they're going to prove Kate wrong. Like, there's going to be some reason.
Well, since you think that, I mean, any theories as to what that could be?
I mean...
without confirming that you're right, by the way.
Maybe I should just like not look at you. Like,
okay.
No, I actually don't care that much about spoilers, so it's okay.
Well, and I think I'm pretty good. I realize I do have reactions to things, but I'm pretty good about concealing what part. Sometimes I'm trying to give a reaction that's meant to make you think different things. But yeah.
Based on my experience of when I was watching it, my brain was like, maybe it's like some like really crazy sci-fi thing, and it's like actually like some really crazy fantasy reason why they didn't. But like, and then I went back to the rumored ending, and I was like, maybe it's the rumored ending.
No.
No.
Again,
you're like, that spoiler, I will hit it down. No. No, but and then there was a moment of like, I wonder if it will end up being like a faith thing, where like, where it ends up being like they were saved for some reason thing. But I don't think it's gonna be that one, and that reaction definitely makes me think it's definitely not gonna be that one. But I also didn't think it was gonna be that one really. Anyway, so
I would just say you're projecting your own things onto my reaction. That's all I'm saying. That could have been like a yeah. Could have been. Because I don't have a lot of interesting things for a first-time viewer to talk about with this. So I'm just going to go more broadly with the episodes that you've seen today.
Well, last thing about this episode, I thoroughly enjoyed the rock star angle. I know I already said that, but I thought the visuals for that were absolutely gorgeous, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching everything to do with that.
We need to have a long discussion about Liam Pace's mutton chops. Insane. I was so glad he got rid of them in the last scene.
Him all of a sudden being like so clean cut was like kind of annoying, but like, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, well,
but I'm into like, I really like the.
You know, this is not something I think we would have had a reference point as teenagers when we probably first saw this, either as Oasis, which is what they're very directly referencing, or just that general kind of vague 90s rock we're probably too young to really have a sense of. But those mutton chops situated so much in like 1996 or so in Britain.
Which I thoroughly have absolutely no problem whatsoever with. It was very Boondock Saints-esque. Like, I was into the vibe, the style. Like,
gotcha.
Yeah.
You get all like the rock god stuff. I'm a bloody rock god.
And then all the rocks fall down. Yes,
yeah.
But then he ended up saving them, so it's okay that he's a rock god. I did have like a substantial amount of time there where I was trying to figure out if he pushed Jack. Like when the rocks were falling, because he was mad at Jack. Well, no, obviously. But like for a while there, I was like, I wonder, because he was acting kind of cagey when he first got out of the cave, and I was like, did he like deliberately not save Jack or like push him into the rocks or something?
Yeah.
But then no, he didn't do that, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm glad, because that would be really dark.
Yeah. Do you have anything else on your mind?
No, you're good. So, sorry.
No. If you have more to say about this episode, like, please do. I didn't have anything else. That was why I was kind of going into the more broad thing.
I did really like the scene where, I know it's back to like the whole like rocks, but the aesthetics of the scene where he walked into that hotel room and he was wearing like the yellow, thing around his neck or whatever, and then his brother, and he like kicked the girls out. Like, that scene was just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not like super relevant to like the point of the show, but it was really pretty. I really liked it.
I do like that scene though. I could be wrong, but I feel like when a lot of people watch this for the first time, I don't really remember what my experience of it was, but you kind of start the episode where he's in confession talking about the temptations. You think, oh well, he's going to go and he's going to succumb to these temptations, and that's how he becomes the addict. But then you find out through the course of the flashbacks that no, it wasn't a temptation situation. It was more of a coping, like, massive amount of pain and emotional devastation that caused him to turn to that for relief.
There was also one of the music scenes that had like this blue and red coloring that I just absolutely loved. It's like a color I consistently love any like TV shows and movies that use it. It's just really, it was like smoky and blue and red and just very cool.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan in general of all the greens we're getting on the island. That's a color you see less and less as we move to digital. Not to get film nerdy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But how filmic this show looks.
Yeah. Were you surprised about Sun speaking English?
What?
I fucking knew it. You didn't finish that fucking episode.
No, I did finish it. I just was also making my dinner and being screamed at periodically and trying to manage the other children hopping up. And he really screams really loud. No, okay. No, but I did gather. No, because I gathered that when the black guy looked at her and said they speak Korean. The way that they looked at each other, I was like, oh yeah, she knows. Yeah.
But I mean, it was
no, but I did get the like the progression of the story with her husband. Like how she
got to the
left
airport
him.
scene?
Yeah, I got to the airport scene. I saw that. And I saw how they like were in love originally, and then he worked for her father and it destroyed him. And then I missed a little bit of it, but the scene where he like came in and with blood all over him, and then she decided to leave him from that. So I got that storyline, and I got the bees. I saw the bees situation.
Bees.
Well, thank God you saw the bees. The Adam and Eve.
So I did see that.
Did you see the Adam and Eve thing from that episode? The bodies they found. They call them Adam and Eve. That's why I'm calling them that. They found two bodies in the cave.
In the cave. Yeah,
There was
Yes, I did see that.
a couple of rocks in one of their.
I didn't hear them call them Adam and Eve, but I did hear them talking about them and how long they had been there. That it had to have been like 40 years or something like that.
You said,
they
it
were
takes,
so decomposed.
It takes 40 or 50 years for clothing to.
And I saw the coffin, the coffin, like Jack destroying his.
So that was the 5th episode. And
Yeah.
So now you're fine. I wasn't like
Jumping around.
no, that's fine.
It just finding the bodies reminded me of when he found the doll in the water. I thought that was a body at first.
Gotcha.
Which could have just been the lighting on my TV, but and then I was like, oh, it's a doll, not like a human. I thought it was like a really bloated, like white. I was like, oh my gosh! And then the way he reacted to it was like wasn't consistent with that, and I was like, wait, what's happening? And then and then it was a doll.
Yeah,
and that was good.
I mean, Jack has probably seen a dead person before.
So what's your take on what Jack was experiencing in that episode? Him seeing his dad like that, and then
It was really sad.
Yeah.
And he still had like that heaviness. Like even in this episode, I felt like you could still feel how heavy he was. And then
those are the rocks.
No, I'm talking about there was a point at the beginning of the episode where he was carrying like a backpack and something else, and he just like
I think that was, and maybe you missed this from the end of the last episode too. He wanted Kate to move to the caves.
I know that. I saw that.
Okay, well,
I think it was that too.
Going through a lot right now.
He's having a hard time with a lot of things. Okay.
He was just in a plane crash like a week ago.
Also, it was only an hour or two ago that his dad, the dad situation happened for me. So
right.
No, but yeah. So I did see that about the caves.
Yeah.
The disagreement over the caves.
Okay. And then, but going back to the dad thing, he finds the coffin.
Crashing the coffin. I enjoyed that a lot.
And you understood why he did that?
Yes, 100%.
Which was, I'm looking for you.
Because his dad's an asshole. And trauma.
Yeah. But you saw the coffin was empty?
I didn't see, what?
Yeah, see. he opens. I
saw him crashing it though.
Well, no, yeah, that's good. And again, the things you're saying about why he crashed it, I think are true on some level, but the much more obvious reason.
So that goes back to like the airport scene where he's like begging them to bring it on, and then he begged them to bring it on, and it was empty the whole time.
Well, no, yeah. See, no, you're doing what I did when I was younger, but no.
Oh.
But that doesn't make any sense.
No.
That they would like, oh so yeah, you can have the coffin, but we're going to hold the body,
or like he might be alive.
This is what I'm going to say about it. This is what I'm going to say about it since you missed it. Is that Jack's going through this experience. He thinks the only rational explanation for it is that he's hallucinating. He has that conversation with Locke, and Locke's like, "Well, even if it is impossible, like let's just say it's not."
The white rabbit.
Yeah, and so then Jack follows it to the cave where there's water, which is exactly what they needed. But it also leads him to the coffin. And he opens the coffin.
Which could
the coffin's
be another.
Empty.
This could be another faith thing too, because if his dad is
everything
dead, then his dad could be. His dad could be
enough. Everything is a faith thing.
But his dad could be like appearing to him to like take him to water because like maybe when his dad died, he realized he was a horrible person and decided to like help his son finally from the grave.
So this is exactly what I was looking for, because that's like the reason I'm asking this is because like. We don't really know what exactly it is that Jack experienced in that episode, and it is very much left for Jack, Locke, us to project meaning onto that and come up with our interpretation of it. And so that's what I was looking for. Like, do you think that was his dad?
Actually comes back.
And we notice in this episode, Jack mentions asking about hallucinations. He's not just asking that for Charlie.
Mm-hmm. I was right about my prediction that the episode was going to have to do with him and his dad.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You didn't catch my reaction to that. See, I was very.
Actually, I did.
What? But you didn't know that
I did too.
I remember when you said the thing about it being his dad.
Yeah.
Like I reacted however I did.
Oh,
and you
that
said,
time. That was earlier in the episode. Oh, yeah.
But
No, you're right, you're right.
you said, but now I think that's not the case because of how you reacted. So that's a good example of what I'm saying about how I'm pretty good about concealing what my reactions mean.
I like how defensive you are about whether or not I know the reaction.
All right, I got a few things. Maybe just one. Okay, so Charlie isn't good enough. Jack doesn't have what he takes, and people keep telling Locke what he can do. I'm noticing a pattern. It might have something to do with the people that made the show more than anything deliberate.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Self-doubt.
I mean, yeah, it's about. So far, the show is about the issues these people had and the situation that they are now in being an opportunity to overcome them, redeem themselves, or
redeem themselves.
And so far, everybody's taken a step.
I noticed that's a very specific issue that a lot of people are dealing with here.
Yeah.
I've also known that Damon Lindelof has talked a lot about feeling in over his head, having to be in charge of the show. So I think that's the kind of thing that just leaks into the show, you know, from behind.
But I mean,
which is kind of
feel
beautiful.
Like
I feel like it does make
just,
art more
it
like when that kind of stuff bleeds in. I think that's good.
But I think they're distinct versions of
Maybe
insecurities
that's just because I'm a
and
writer
stuff.
who lets stuff bleed into my work all the time.
Obviously, the Sun one is much more unique, and in Kate, we still don't even really know what her deal is. The Kate flashback, all we learned was kind of how she got on the. And we learned that she's not exactly a nasty killer type person.
I was surprised that she was so cagey with Jack. How she was like, "You had your chance to know." I was like, "Okay,
fuck you."
You were fine with him asking the first time, or like you gave him an opportunity. Like, I was just like surprised by that. By her being like that. After being willing to tell him in the first place. And then she was like weird when he was looking at the mugshot, and it was like...
Yeah. Okay. I mean, everything else I can think of, we don't have time to talk about, so... I
can talk fast. Go. What else do you want to talk about? I'll talk really fast, Gilmore Girls style.
Were you upset at Boone for...
I will never be upset at
stealing the water? You don't remember him stealing the water? Oh my god!
I remembered the water being stolen, and I remembered them finding the water. I thought that the Korean guy stole the water because she thanked him for getting her water.
Yeah, but
she said, "Thank you for getting."
They were asking them how they got the water, and then he said, "I traded it with Sawyer," and then that's when they followed Sawyer to the hole, and that scene I was talking about earlier that I find funny happened.
I'm sorry. I apologize. But also, I will never hold anything against Boone. They would have to really make him awful.
See, but I feel like you're I feel like you're not divorcing the actor from the character.
Well, I don't think you understand how much I love you as a world. I've been he is the primary reason I wanted to watch Lost.
Okay.
So, because he's a guest.
So you have to forgive me for loving him. What?
He's going to be a guest at our screening next week.
Yeah, so you should be here. Don't miss it. But okay, yeah, so we're out of time. But next week we're going to be at a different location, and they won't kick us out quite as early. So there should be a little bit more room for this. But yeah, so next week we'll come back for Confidence Man, episode 8. Hope you come back. Bye.
It's a very good cosplay, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
can't do the accent.
That's the one he's been waiting on. Like since the pilot, he was talking about coming in that, and I was like, "Oh, save it for the 7th episode."
I was actually here for the pilot.
Yeah, this is the main reason that we had the other costumes. This one was so good. It's like maybe I should just keep doing them all.
Yeah,
I just already own all this stuff. They can't even see the shoes also match.
Oh, that's amazing. There you go.
The shoes also match.
I would now like to give a special thank you to the currently active donors. These include candidate number 90, Ben Ward, candidate number 108, Jeffrey Winslow, candidate number 69, Brian Phillips, candidate number 32, Chuck Boyd, and candidate number 341, Hans. If you too would like to become a candidate, you can do so for as little as $1. One-time or recurring donations can be set up on Ko-fi.com/candlepun or Patreon.com/candlepun. A donation of any amount will get you credited in this podcast and added to the candidate wall, which will be displayed in all video versions of the episodes of this podcast from that point forward, even once you're no longer donating. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the multiple people that have donated equipment and resources that are used in the production of this podcast. These include Mary Mullins, Brandon Huth, Charles Huth, William McMahon, and Charlene McMahon. Until next time, namaste and good luck.
There you go. Voice memos is the best.
Did you know a German accent?
What?
There you go.
Was I? I don't know.
To like this video, click the thumbs up. Or, if there has been an incursion by the hostiles, click the thumbs down. To leave feedback, enter a comment below. To be notified when more videos arrive, click the circle and then select the notification bell. To view previous content from this channel, click either of the two boxes.